Here we go! It's time to do this once again! It's time to dim the lights and let the feedback build! 3 clicks and sticks! And we're ready to explode! We sing along!
This content is for informational and educational purposes only. You should not construe any such information or other material as legal, tax, investment, financial, or other advice. Nothing contained here constitutes a solicitation, recommendation, endorsement, or offer to buy or sell any securities or other financial instruments whatsoever by Draper Goren Blockchain, aka DGB, the presenter, or other associated parties for the content being provided. Please do your own due diligence and seek proper counsel.
Boom. Was up, guys? Kevin joined while the intro thing was going. How's it going, guys?
Good. Steve.
It's Tuesday.
Good.
Nice Tesla jersey.
Good.
Nice Tesla's jersey. Is that a new one?
Yeah.
Or
Yes, I was visiting. I did some traveling. I went to London. I visited Trilotech offices, which was nice. I didn't expect it, but they're like, "Hey, do you want to record some videos with Arthur?" So we did some of those in the Understanding Tesla series. They gave me this, Manchester United.
It's like it's
jersey.
cool because the other ones were like a different design. So now you got a different design than
You're
the
like,
rest
what's
of
the
us.
right
We
way to
popped the other one.
say?
Sorry, my brain is.
Yeah.
I'm trying to
Oh, yeah, there are a lot
retweet
of
everything
varieties
from
now.
all the different accounts and stuff, and so everything.
Yeah, that's
is
always
just
the
doing
first
its
thing of
thing.
every kind of show. In the end, I like schedule that stuff. Like that's like the best use of the scheduling tools because like you're gonna what time it's gonna be, and also like you don't want to be doing it when the thing starts.
Well, it doesn't let you
because I never use
automatically
those
like
tools.
retweet it from the different accounts, right? So I want to make sure you share from the DGB account.
Yeah.
And then usually it pops up something saying like, do you want to do this? Do you want to do that? But it doesn't always, so it's weird.
Everybody help. Everybody watching and listening, share it wherever you can. It'll be
That's
good for
right.
you.
Good for you.
Robbie!
Yeah. And here's Emilio posting something I saw on my phone. Boom. Emilio, you got to just get on the stream one of these days. You got to ping us and get
Let's
on.
pick it up a notch.
What's up,
Who do
guys?
you think that guy
Bitcoin.
was? Emilio
Was
Estevez.
Bitcoin.
what?
It was up. Now it's
Was-
only at 117 and change.
Oh my.
Right. But I mean, keep in mind the volatility we're
support.
seeing at this level is like we're used to seeing it like move up and down by thousands as like a much bigger deal than it is now. Because Bitcoin, like the price that the base price we're starting to look at, it's in the hundreds of thousands. It's like so you have to think about like as percent. It's like, oh yeah, that's not as much as I'm conditioned to remembering it is. It's still, depending on what you're trying to do, volatility trading or debt trading. But also, it's important. Not Bitcoin is the head that leads the tail of everything else, the alts and all that. But I think it's become like an interesting way of reading market sentiment by seeing how certain alts react to the changes in Bitcoin. Like if people are, it's like a proxy of seeing how cautious people are about Bitcoin to see how they're reacting one way or the other with ETH, for example. So like ETH is kind of just chilling for now. It's not retracting back to maybe former pump levels in anticipation of a deeper Bitcoin drop, but it's also not anticipating a continuation of this expansion just yet. So like people are looking at that just saying, all right, well, we just want to see what's going to happen. So it's a bit of a sitting in neutral situation, let alone all the other alts and what's going on with them. As
Oh! Pingu just hit
Oh my God.
3 cents, and my dad has made more in Soul than what he bought in, but he's still and he's around the same of what he bought in. So, but he's not selling. He's like, just hold that stuff.
The Pingu or the Soul?
The pink he bought into Soul. He bought into Pingu, tons of Pingu. Yeah, got tons of Pingu.
Did he buy any? Oh wait, did he buy any of your meme coins or some Coop?
I would tell him not to if he asks. I tell everyone not to. They say don't buy, right on them.
That's the smart financial advice.
Yeah.
What's up, Nate?
What's going on?
Newsletter went out this morning. Did you guys get the DGB newsletter? Check your
I didn't
inbox.
get a DGB newsletter. Why don't I get a
You
DGB
should.
newsletter?
How would you not be on our newsletter list, Kevin?
Dude, go sign up on our site. Come on, what the heck?
I feel like I'm on. You know what? Maybe it's because you import the DGH list.
You
all
things,
now
because
get
maybe that's why,
mortgages
because I'm
in
on maybe like
California.
12 of those, but not.
You get a mortgage in California through litfinancial.com.
That's pretty rad.
That is pretty good.
Hold on. Let's see.
Oh.
How are you not on our newsletter? Kevin.
So the tactic here, my friends, is if you have large capital gains, you use Lit Financial to go get a rental unit, right? A short-term rental. You go buy a short-term rental, and then you depreciate that in the first year to take a 60%, depreciation to offset the capital gains. Talk to your financial advisor, your stock, your tax advisor. But I had this discussion like last week at a real estate thing, and I realized, this is why I went back to work, is so I could buy property to offset gains.
I have no clue what you're talking about.
Real estate.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes more sense.
Yeah. Real estate strategies.
I tried to get in the real estate game once. I got this really big cardboard box, and tried renting it out as an Airbnb, and just for it's like $100 a night, and no one would go for it.
Probably not. What you got to do? You got to throw a VR headset in with it.
I'm like, it's way cheaper than everything else, and it's big enough to live in.
It's in California.
I mean, come on. It's a box inside a house, and you don't want to live in it? I'm just like, come on.
All right, you know what? I'm going to share my screen really quick because Emilio said that he had an error signing up. So go to dgb.vc if you want to hang with us. Actually, wait, let me bring the thing up that I always do. I forgot to share. Go to dgb.vc or follow us at DGB Ventures everywhere. If you are wanting to sign up, there is you can contact us through the Partner With Us area, or you can go to the bottom, subscribe to our newsletter here, or there is a newsletter link too somewhere, like right here. But I'm gonna put, actually, let's check the newsletter page. It works. Put my name in here. I'm probably already on it, but thank you for subscribing. Seems to work. So hopefully it works. Sign up there. That's the newsletter we're talking about. Nate put it all together. I made some tiny changes this morning and fired it off. And that was the lead thing, is Lit Financial, one of our portfolio companies, a mortgage company. They are licensed in California now, so you can get HELOCs and mortgages and stuff like that through Lit Financial if you're in California, but also most of the rest of the United States. And we had a bunch of other good ones. Ivory had updates. Calypto had some awesome things. The Care Bears stuff on that's coming through Naftos. And Zoop. Yeah. So Zoop is connecting with one of our DGH companies, Naftos, to license Care Bears to make a trading card game. So it's two portfolio companies connecting together, which is pretty rad. So lots of awesome stuff.
I'd love to talk to Care Bears over what I just showed you.
That's what you should do. We'll connect you with Zoop. They're with Naftos. They're the experts in licensing stuff. And actually, while we're talking about it, let's first get a catch up from Kevin, because we haven't seen Kevin in a month or so. Kevin, what's new?
My focus has been, this is the 5th year anniversary of USD Tez. And
Dang,
it's
awesome.
come in time and 5 years ago, a lot of people thought, like, why make a niche specific reserve backed stable coin? Either make an algo stable or DAI and those things, or, just yield to the monopoly or duopoly of USDT and USDC. But now we're seeing, a lot of encouragement actually of startup reserve backed stable coins by the Stable Act and the Genius Act making their way through the United States governments, advancing very nicely. And what they're doing, I think, is very strong, specifically for startup stablecoins. I think it's giving us a lot of leeway to really expand the playing field. And so that's very exciting. It's also coming at the time of the new market. It's also coming at a time when we do have 5 years of track record of showing good governance, anticipating this moment where the U.S. domiciled stablecoins we could become a U.S. domiciled stablecoin, and in a more welcoming environment. And it's coming at a time in Tezos, and we chose Tezos specifically because we believe that it has the brightest future for a diversified DeFi portfolio of larger financial institutions, and it's that kind of undervalued opportunity that a lot of people are stick up to, and they will in the future even more as we progress through this cycle and a lot of other tokenomics advances that are coming. But with the DeFi advances that have been made, we've seen implementation coming from on the Etherlink side of things, the layer 2 that's EVM compatible that runs on Tezos. And this was the first foray of Foundation sponsored program to incentivize liquidity coming in. So now Etherlink is shown in a very top growth category of TVL for DeFi. So, put in, and that's been just $1 million a month, considering that Tezos Foundation has, I think, over $1 billion, my estimate, given the last report and the price of the assets that they own in their treasury. This, as an experiment, this is, showing that we can do a lot. I have been pushing for refinements and advances of this type of program. So far, a lot of assets coming from the outside world or wanting to bring in, bridged over assets from Ethereum and such over to Etherlink. I'd say the stronger way, the economically advantageous way in which not only they can get the best liquidity on, we can get the best liquidity on Etherlink, but also basing it in manifold liquidity for where the Tezos real economy lives, is primitives on Tezos L1 and Tezos L1, and then bridging that over to Tezos L2, and that way you have liquidity where it's needed the most, while also providing it and using the middleware tools that are available on Etherlink. So that's been my push. We're also launching tomorrow Tezfin v3, and this is a very key one. This is the one that's enabling the kind of scalability we want to be seeing, and it goes hand in hand with a lot of this stuff I just said, because it is much more conducive to, or it has the mechanisms that are much more conducive to composability. So when it comes to farms and easy bridging and recognition in many other forums, just being able to see the metadata that's proper. The previous versions were more just let's get it out there and let's get the lending system going. This one's much more about how it appeals to the broader macro environment. So those two things combined are very exciting. More I could talk about, but I would be digressing if I moved on to TezX stuff, but that's coming too. TezDev also happened, and that was the most beautifully presented, a lot of great things, but beautifully presented Tezos events that I've been to. I mean, it was just so well put together. The team really worked hard on it. It felt more like this is what like a Tezos conference should look like, and we've seen art representation there, which was something for years. It's like, let's start to bring in the art community into these annual events we have. It doesn't get in the way of anything, it adds to it. Some other exciting things. The launch, I think one of the big headliners was, well, by the way, when it comes out, watch the Arthur keynote. I think that puts a lot of the stuff in context. Reaper Actual, that's another thing. A game that's coming to Tezos. It's a really big backed game. It's going to be running on Etherlink. And this is something where I've always said that Etherlink, that'll be like its big mainstay. Like, I think gaming, it fits really hand in hand with middleware and all the other environment development stuff that you need to run gaming. That's where having that EVM compatibility really shows strength. So I don't know if you've seen it. It's a first-person shooter game. It's pretty cool.
Hey, I'm going to throw something out there
real-
right now in the middle of what
Yeah.
you're saying. I know it's not related, but
basically
we
done.
got this guy, Mariano, this dude, Yosef, asked for some feedback on their products. I think we should do a version of this soon where we go live and we let people on to give us demos of their stuff, and we give feedback and hang out and have a little fun with a bunch of entrepreneurs who are pitching and all that. So let's do that soon. So Yosef and Mariano, make sure you sign up on our newsletter. I mentioned that before, but I'll share it again on here. And we'll put it in one of our upcoming newsletters, what date and time we'll be doing that. And we should just go live and then let entrepreneurs do it. It'd be epic.
We should probably pre-vet some of them first, though.
Yeah. But just basic sign up form, and we'll just pick 5 or 10 of them, right, and try to get as many entrepreneurs as possible, especially the people who tune in regularly, right, and who share. So heck yeah, let's do it. Good luck on your project, and make sure you fill out the form on our website and pitch it to us too. He said he's building an AI trading companion app. Sounds rad. So let's check it out. Keep going, Kevin. So wait, I want to know a couple things. I know I'm guiding you away from what you were saying. So cool games being launched on Tezos soon, or Etherlink.
Yeah.
You said you did some interviews with Arthur. When are those going to be public? Like, is this something we can?
It's part of that. If you've seen on the at Tezos account, like, you'll see a little video like asking questions to Arthur in this Understanding Tezos series that's been going on. So yeah, I was in town. They're like, hey, do you want to pop in and do a couple? Sure. Like, I was recovering from the flu at the time, so it's kind of a haze to me. I think I did well. I don't remember. We'll find out.
I'm sure you could.
But guess. Yeah, I did ask questions that I thought were very pertinent to the Tezos community, things for some time. And also, like, while at the same time sticking with what I think is often very much missed, which is the basics. Why Tezos? Why do you even need this chain? And that comes back to on-chain governance. And like why are all these OGs like still here if you went from number 10 to, I guess we were in the top like 100 something or other. Now, because of the lift in price, we're in the top 100 again. But yeah, I mean, so I think that's really important, because otherwise, we tend to get very distracted by, I think, the incremental or modular technology upgrades, which are very exciting. But if you miss out on that fundamental narrative, that underlying foundation as to, well, why on this? Why don't I just wait for these features to come out on this other chain, which is bigger, or has all these other things? Someone's willing to write me a check to work on that, or like, why this? Then it doesn't matter anyway. So I think every conversation really needs to start and end with on-chain governance, so that value is shared. And otherwise, it's like, because I'm in a position, and many of us are in the position, where it's like, we'll see technology features come out on these massive chains, the ones with like top TVL, top market caps and whatever, and we see people getting behind, and it's like, we've seen that story before, and those chains are in the dustpan. Plus, those are great features, but that only really matters to me if it's on a chain with on-chain governance. So let's try to get that on Tezos. That's how we think. We really honestly feel that way. And it's just, to us, it's like, really, I think would everybody feel that way? No, of course there'll be people who will just chase whatever's, the new shiny thing out there. But I always feel like there are enough. Like, let's just say we're 1 out of every 10 people, we're scratching the surface in the crypto world. We're still exposing this stuff to not even just the masses, like still the early adopter kind of phase. So getting the message out there accurately, I think that for any chain, I think it's like don't get distracted by the exciting day to day, while forgetting why you're all here, because everything has its own unique
how many
value.
friends can you walk? How many people off the street can you walk up to and say, "Hey, what's the price of Bitcoin right now?" and see if they actually knew it was $100,000 right now.
Yeah.
Right. Like people are.
Yeah, even
What would you
Bitcoiners.
You want me to do
What
that?
would you
I'll do that
expect?
regular live. I'll just go out on the street and see how many people know.
No, wait.
That
So
would be
for
funny.
Hold on. There'll be two TMI for the stream. People will see where you live and stuff.
So it's
Well,
public data.
Kevin. So
what-
for the people that just saw all the highs, right, of Bitcoin over the weekend, right? I mean, we had our chats going crazy over the weekend. Rankin, I'll give my
We're not
nod to
isolated.
Rankin. He was the one every time there was a new high. He was the first one. I think there was one at like 11 at night, and I was like, I'm loving this right now.
I think it was
Right. See,
Well,
along
I was gonna say
At
that
122, there was a song produced.
1:22 a.m.
No. At 122 when it hit.
when it hit
Oh,
122.
It's about 12 o'clock at night. But at
Yeah.
12 o'clock at night, I'm using Suno to write a song about going to the moon.
But for Kevin, because you had touched on it, and we know what it means. But for the people that saw Bitcoin at a high over the last several days, and then went, "Oh, I want to go ahead and get involved. I want to see what this stuff means." Right?
I don't think there's people thinking that though.
He's asking me a question. Will you let him finish the
let's
question?
Hope so.
Mr.
Rankin, we
Rankin?
need more people
have
to
the
think
floor.
that way. We
Look what I
want
just
more
found.
people to think that way.
That's Nate's
How do we get
picture
more
on
people
our
to
website,
think
It is.
made by the legendary Crypto Comics.
That's right.
Sorry, I'm adding on to Rankin's interruptiveness just because Kevin said let me do something, so I was like, all right, let me distract you even more.
Yeah.
Oh, and
yeah.
Rankin, to distract you, I updated my website.
We're gonna do that next. I got a
for
good
the-
transition, but I want to let.
Yeah.
So how do
for
we
the-
get? So you're asking how do we get people excited about it the way we're excited about it? Or what?
No. So my question is more because you had touched on-chain governance, right? Right.
Yeah.
So we understand what that is. We understand the value of what it is, right? But explain to people that might have saw Bitcoin at a high this weekend and go, I want to look more into it, right? I want to see if there's other companies that are doing this stuff, right? Other companies that are utilizing other software, utilizing, Bitcoin in terms of like what are liquidity pools, right? So if they went down that rabbit hole, right? Explain what the value is of on-chain governments, just so that they can
governance,
understand.
yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I mean, one of the reason why Bitcoin, one of the fundamental reasons why it came to be where it is today is the fact that the community considers this to be decentralized. That it's not a person who runs it. Even the creator of the there's this mystery behind who wrote the white paper that led it to be. Like that's very valuable. And when you do have an entity behind something, and there are many of these smart contract type blockchains where you make apps and tokens on top of, and Bitcoin is at this point not the spearheader of that. You're looking at a lot of these ecosystems that are led by a company or a founder or a team, and that can be great in the way that you can actually get some innovation out there quickly without many hurdles, without too many collaborators. You just get it done like you would any company. But you're not building an app. When you build a blockchain, an L1 blockchain, a layer 1 base level blockchain, you're building a full ecosystem. Like it's like building a country, with a sustainable government. It all comes down to governance. Now, in the past, I mean, there's really for most of these chains that are not led by, wait, Zuda, you're going to distract me. I'll get to you. Okay. So so for a lot of these chains, like their idea of decentralizing governance is not like, it's like, okay, well, we're still going to be calling the shots, but if you don't like it, hey, just fork. Copy the code, make a new chain, get other validators to follow you, and that's that. And or fork, really just not copying it per se, but like actually the blockchain, it's this continuous thing. So it like kind of unzips and becomes separate areas. And then so it's like, well, which one's the original one? They both are, not just on an abstract way, on a literal technical level, they are both the same, from the same origin place. And we've seen that lead to different kind of problems in that, like, well, which one is the real asset? If you have a stable coin, for example, that's reserve backed, like there's this off-chain collateral like USDC or something. Well, you know, you have a certain amount of original chain. Well, now you kind of owe it to both groups. How are you going to, what happens there? Let alone all the real world assets that are coming, let alone real estate that'll be tokenized, let alone, you know, like how are you going to promise the same plot of land to two different people? It doesn't make any sense. So that's it. But also, that's a disaster scenario. Let's say that we haven't seen one of those in a very long time. One of the advantages of just having this, and I think this is even more important.
Rabbit holes I'm avoiding going.
Well, no, this is the. Let me
keep going, Kevin. Keep going, Kevin.
No. Like just the fact that we have a system like on Tezos where it's not like that, where you have the validators that actually put forth, and it's democratically voted on chain and added, and going through a pipeline that needs a supermajority to say yes. And if it doesn't work out, which it hasn't always. We've had times when it didn't, you have to reconcile and figure it out. That brings us innovation and ideas from all over the world, not from a single team, not from a single founder, but from the intellectual energies of all of mankind. And that is what actually ends up leading to even the best technology in the long run. That's what gives the actuarial certitude to financial institutions. So this will always be one united thing, and it'll probably lead the pack. It's the same reason why we trust democracies economically more than we do, you know, even very stable despotic regimes and stuff like that, or things that are like very stable monarchies that have absolute. We trust these because it's like, well, this is always renewing. It's not reliant on a central figure. That's what Tezos is. That's why it matters so much. So yeah, there's fart coin that shoots up in the charts sometimes, but that should go to show you how frothy the market is and how money doesn't really yet follow intrinsic value. The ones who really look at this stuff and are motivated by the courage of their own conviction.
Right now, and you have way too good of self-control. Frothy fart coins shooting up into the market. Like, I don't know. You could have made
all the Santorum.
So many dumb jokes.
I've been staying quiet too.
At least he made it all the way through with no distractions on explaining the entire value of, you know.
Okay, but I still don't get it. I've never understood what on-chain governance is. It sounds boring, and I hear Kevin talking, and my brain just goes numb.
Something should be.
No, you're trolling now.
No,
I know you're
trolling.
I am not trolling.
Well, first of all, you do a lot of research, Zuda. You do a lot of AI research. You do a lot of deep diving into different things. Did you never think, let me give it a minute to look up on-chain and tell my AI, tell me this way I can understand.
The reason I've never looked it up is because it seems to be going fine, so why do I need to know?
Because you want to build stuff.
I'm going to hold you to that.
That is, we need a video.
Everything from now on
to get a copy of that. Seems to be going fine. So what do I need to know?
I just want to know why.
USA.
I just want to get on a decentralized system. I just want to know why. When I interact with the liquidity pool or a decentralized exchange, why does it stop working? But as soon as I change the VPN or change it to a different country, all of a sudden it works again.
Oh, we've been through this. You have very, very high security settings on your browser.
No, but if I change and go through a VPN,
good problem. All of a sudden that's like, what's wrong with the internet?
It's geo-blocking. They have geo-blocking tagged on this stuff, and like,
you have the highest security settings of anyone I know. So that's
Rankin is very
going on. No, no one else has that problem. I've never had an issue ever. No one I know in LA has an issue.
Like, change your geo-block. Like when you're like geo-blocking is not cool. Like you should be able to access it from a different country, but not your own.
It's not the country. I use VPN. I access from different points all the time. Okay, I mean, no, I don't.
But I'm just saying,
you're traveling.
No, you do. You should for it. Just anyway, just for regular security, you should do that. But like, I've never had that issue. I think we've walked through this before, and show me that your browser settings are especially high. So I think that interaction
Well, no, but the
with,
thing is like
I don't know
when
how
the
even
only-
your
when the
VPN
only
settings
thing
might be a little unique to yourself. It's not a,
Only
but
the-
like, so
with
this
the-
is
with
something
the
very
VPN is the only
hold on.
difference.
It could be, so it's very localized to that. And it could be, even if it were, something else, it could be, some other issue or something.
It's just
There's so
fascinating.
many things in this before you're like, well, what about it's this blockchain that I'm using? No. What's with this TCP IP? I don't believe in this whole system.
No,
It
I
doesn't
think
make
it's
any
absolutely
sense.
a front end.
No,
The
it's
front
a
end.
you
We
issue.
need
It's
to-
not the.
We need to centralize the front ends because I think it's the front end geo-blocking.
It's you.
So
I'm telling
what's the
you,
point
it's
of a
you.
decentralized system if the front ends are geo-blocking?
Okay, let's figure out what your exact hookup profile is. You can send
It's
me
okay.
all of your
That's
settings.
okay. I'm just saying.
I'm gonna
I'm just-
no. I will. What I'm gonna do is this is what I'm gonna do for you. That's what I'm gonna do for you. This is the kind of full service. This is the
I
Kevin
have no
guarantee.
problem. I'm
You're
fine.
gonna
I'm fine.
you're gonna get. I'm gonna go to every maker of every tool you're using.
I
And
would
I'm gonna
suggest
say,
you need to
is
increase
this a
your
you
security
issue?
settings.
I will get to the bottom of this, and then
No, there's nothing to get to the
if
bottom.
I'm right
I'm
about this, I'm trying to think what you should do for me.
I'm fine. I'm fine, but I'm just
Fine, I'll
saying,
do it
like this
just
is
as a-
this is an issue. This
the
is an
bottom of
issue.
it.
We should have everybody should be able to use this
If it
stuff.
is an issue,
freely.
we'll get to the bottom of it. I promise.
Right, the government is absolutely gonna like prohibit people from using stuff, and they're gonna whitelist everything eventually, and you're gonna have to be on some list in order to access these sites. It's just the direction that we're heading. So and that way they can monitor and surveil everybody, and it's okay.
I mean,
Or you can be
when
Edward
people have-
Snowden. I mean,
you have technical issues.
Unfringed. So what?
When people have technical issues with anything in the stack, I tend to hear about it, and they tend to be maybe localized towards a very specific module, and it doesn't affect everybody. And then there's a whole thing about it in the community, and then they fix it and all that.
Oh no, I've tweeted it
your
out.
issues are
There's
because we did a Zoom call about this, so I was able to be there live and troubleshoot you, if you remember.
Well, that's
And
what
then
Tez. I'm not
what
talking
we-
about Tez though. I'm not talking about Tez.
Just talking about general blockchain stuff.
Yeah, this is more like stuff on Ethereum and just front ends and stuff like that.
Everything you use is like this. It really is. You gotta. I
No,
mean,
I've had
are
a
all the
problem.
security settings you have
And it's
necessary?
not just me because I've tweeted this stuff out and other people have the same problem.
You do realize
I
Kevin, who
appreciate
you're
your
asking
diligence
that
in
question
protecting
to.
yourself. I do. I appreciate the extra security you take. It's better to side on the error over caution because you're not going to get penalized for that. But if some things are
Well, and I have no
becoming
crypto, so
a
it's all.
problem greater than the solution,
I've been SIM swapped. I've been rugged. I've been,
Welcome to crypto.
yeah,
But you're not wearing a rug.
part of the experience.
That was great. That was great.
No, I still have my hair, thank God. At least some of it left. No rugs yet.
See,
UCLA
yours
came out
is
with a
going
new
back.
thing on hair
Mine
loss
is staying
last
but
week.
getting really
Did you see
thin.
I'm
was that?
getting the vampire. I've got the vampire thing going on.
Oh,
Is there a
yeah,
crypto hair
UCLA
loss
cured
solution
baldness.
yet?
Hold on. Look it up. It was some molecule they discovered or invented or whatever.
Guys,
Okay, let's get back on topic. I hear.
I'm
there's-
transitioning.
I hear that. Okay,
Ooh.
There we go.
and it gave me hair.
It gave you a good hair. It was like, you know what? I'm gonna skip Alon's hair and put a hat on him. And Nate's bald. Sorry, Nate. Maybe you were leaned back in when I took the screenshot. I don't know. But I am waiting on an updated version of this.
That Care Bear has a really good set of hair.
Does, right? Hold on, wait. Oh, Kevin's sharing something in the chat. Found a way to reverse hair loss without drugs. You know what my dad always said? He'd say, if God thought hair was so important, he wouldn't let it grow on my ass. But he was copying somebody else. He told me once somebody else told that to him. But I always thought that was hilarious. All right, hold on. Before I transitioned.
Here, the no pattern baldness. Thank you, Kevin.
Well,
Here, I'll post it for the comments
I think we'll
sections
lose
for
people
those
if we
people.
start having hair conversations.
I mean, we've had
I heard Zudo's been doing some cool stuff.
yes, so that's why I brought that up. Actually, I was going to transition, although I was trying to share something else. I was waiting to share another picture that ChatGPT is just being way too slow to bring me, so we'll just have to bring that up later. So Zuda's been doing a lot of work on Dreamy and talking about potentially licensing characters and things like that, the way that Zoop and Naftos just did with Care Bears, is a good transition, because something that he's done with Dreamy is not just the ability to, you know, like have conversations with characters and stuff, but actually like create these marketing opportunities through gamified experiences. And he wants to show us some of that. So we're going to bring it up on the stage. So hold on, before you click on anything.
Yes.
When you say choose your companion, he has like 3 different interfaces for Dreamy now that you'll be able to select when you go to the website. This stuff is like in beta, so I don't know if it's public yet, but you're seeing what's actually working, right?
It works, but it'll be up probably today. And the Shirley Holmes is paid users only when it goes live.
Oh, nice. Okay. So paid users only. Really, really quick, because it just popped up and I won't be able to continue on until I do this stupid thing. We just got a live, you know how like in courts they have court reporters and stuff like that? We have a version of that watching the show, and they drew a live picture of Kevin earlier. I think Kevin's delayed a little. Kevin, are you there? Do you see us?
He's frozen.
He's just shut down.
Like I see his eyes moving.
I think it's his VPN settings.
Where did he go? I've been waiting to make this stupid joke since he said "go fork" earlier.
I think
he's Coop is joining us.
I think he has something wrong with.
I should have waited. I should have waited for the. Oh, there is Coop. Boom. Oh, Kevin dropped. I was making a stupid joke for Kevin. For Kevin, right as you were joining, and he dropped the second you connected. Here's Kevin.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Hey, Kevin. The DGB live stream court reporter drew you earlier.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. All right, let's go back to Dreamy.
This was private.
You just back to $3,000. Nice.
I kind of like this view better. All right. Wait, first off, since we just got Coop, how you doing, man? We got Zuda is going to share us the latest version of Dreamy.
Yo,
he's working on.
What's up? I'm good, man. I'm sober. I'm good. What's good?
Hey, I like it. I like that you're joining us, and I like that smile. All right, let's all chime in. Let's see. So, okay, we were talking about Dreamy, Zuda's product. So there's the interface. When you click on Dreamy, that's the interface we've seen in the past in previous things. You could get creative. You could ask it its feelings. It will think about things that you had conversations and give you insight. There's some meditation-y things, but I think the meditation stuff is split off into Serene. Is that what this is? Serene?
I'm gonna focus more on Serene I'm gonna focus more on Serene eventually, but Serene is just the fallback for Dreamy when you run out of Dreamy messages right now.
Okay, and it'll like give you some guided meditation kind of stuff, right? Reflection.
Yeah.
Cool. And then Shirley Holmes is an example of a character that Dreamy powers that you could have conversations with and play games with and stuff like that. And you have a demo to show us of that.
Yes.
Yeah. So show us Shirley Holmes. This is cool. This is super cool. And he started to show this to Rankin and I earlier, and we decided to we decided to wait until the live stream. So now we're going to all see it together.
Easy mode.
So you're putting us into easy mode. Narrate and tell us what's
I am
going
Shirley,
on.
a time traveler, related to that famous detective. I have a case. Titanic, 1912. But it isn't what anyone believes. It's always been a ship that time travelers board for fun. But something has gone terribly wrong. Do you have what it takes to solve this case before it is too late?
So it's pretty simple. It's time decided to go Sherlock Holmes. Okay, let's make a girl version, Shirley Holmes, and let's make her a time traveler so we can have cases in any point in time, because I hate being stuck in one time period. And so if you go, yes, I'll take the case. If you go, yes, I'll take the case, it'll take you to the chat screen. If you hit no, it will take you back to the main screen. So you hit yes. I'm going to be adding in tons of voices today that I've already made on 11 Labs.
Yeah, I saw a video of this.
How did you see a video of this? I haven't made this yet.
Is this the video thing where like they find out which one's
Heaven is a time traveler.
the AI?
Oh God, why do I always have errors when I try to do
Because I remember
a
seeing a
demo?
video of like a mystery. No, but the app you're using. Wait, did you
This
make
is
this?
my app.
Did you make
I
the whole
built
app?
this. Yes, I built the whole app.
You made this whole app?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. All right, relax. Jeez,
I'm gonna solve it.
I'm reminding
Okay,
people.
so
I knew the
it's-
Time
answer.
traveler. The time travelers, they're going to save the
You're
bank
welcome.
because
This is a
So
thanks, I guess.
the mystery is this: the Titanic is a boat that time travelers go on to try to figure out how to get off it before it crashes. That's the whole purpose of the Titanic in this storyline. But this time, someone destroyed all the recall devices, so the time travelers can't get off. So they actually are going to die if you don't figure it out. That's the storyline.
we should
Okay.
incorporate something with central banking, and that if people are saved, central banking doesn't exist, and all of a sudden now because of that, Bitcoin doesn't exist. Right?
Is that a world
Because-
you want to live in? So there's
Well, no, but
like
Bitcoin was
the negative
created because of
consequences
centralized banking,
of
right?
saving the day.
Yeah, well, think of that. Bitcoin was created kind of as a happenstance because of the fact that we have centralized banking,
No,
which is currency debasement.
no. I mean, we don't know. I know.
Well,
I don't know why Bitcoin was made. I know why Ethereum was made. He was ticked off at a video game.
No, I'm going to tell you though. But so here's the thing: there were certain people that were on the Titanic that died who were against centralized banking. That were like, and all of a sudden,
I heard this
the
story.
centralized bank was created after the Titanic went down because certain people were disappeared. Right.
And one quick really important thing I need to remind everyone of.
Do your own research.
Breaking news. According to the DGB show, you can now believe everything you see on the internet.
Oh, I want to make that.
Yes.
How do I
Do
make
your own
that?
research.
I'm a fan of these lines of thought, by the way, and I'm not actually
Alon,
ranking.
let Kevin know which platform you're using for that.
Oh, that
Alon,
was Dio, right?
So centralized banking led
Oh.
to currency debasement over time, right? And if it wasn't for currency debasement, we wouldn't have Bitcoin today, probably, because you wouldn't have all these banking issues and all these catastrophic events, in society. And so, because of all these issues of currency debasement, Bitcoin was created out of that system. And if it wasn't for these great people of sinking Titanic, then we might not have Bitcoin today.
So because are we saying we should?
Would we have a utopia? Would it
story
have stopped wars from being fought? Would there be more wars fought?
Well, yeah, actually, there's a great system. So originally, in order to finance wars, they had to sell war bonds, right? If the American people didn't want to buy the war bonds, the war simply didn't happen. But so what they happened, they needed wars, and so what they did through a finance system where they can create the money, they no longer have to sell bonds anymore to fund their wars because they can simply print the money. This is where Bitcoin kind of solves this. If you take away the power of the money from the state, and all of a sudden they can no longer just print money to go to war anymore. And so this is where there's all sorts of interesting history on this. But yeah,
I do think about what would have happened if nobody bought the war bonds
How's
and
that
how they
song
would have
go?
financed World
There's
War II
always
and all
enough
that.
money for a war.
You
It would have
war,
been very
like-
ugly, what they would have had to
Yeah.
do.
No, you're just triggering all these ideas in my head. Are we gonna go through this demo? Is it working?
It's
we are.
working, sorta. Yeah. You know,
I'm adding alternate reality to the game, though. You're welcome to use any of
My
those.
poor old mother died. Okay, go.
So I just asked, just said hello, and there's gonna be all the things on the corner will trigger a voice thing eventually. Not right now. I just got the video put in, and so they asked. So I'm going down the explore the captain.
Like a choose your own. It's like a choose your own adventure mystery, but you'll be able to do it with voice talking to the person soon.
The voice will talk to you, and I will be getting you talking to the voices soon enough.
Cool.
Yes.
That's really rad.
Hey, just to respond.
Remember that I was pitching this years ago, and I think I lost the domain name, like a total bonehead move. But remember, I wanted to make a game studio called Speak and Destroy, and the whole point was to be voice command games, like.
From
The whole game interface was just audio. Yeah, I owned the domain name carpg.com also. So you can play RPG games, but carpg. So you're sitting in traffic and you could be playing a game using only your voice, no visual interface at all.
That's super easy to do.
Now it is, yeah.
So and what Alon was talking about earlier, Alon, you said that making marketing tool, and I did make one. It's not out yet. It's for an influencer, and so when you talk about T-shirts, it'll pitch his T-shirts for sale. When you mention something, it'll mention his book for sale. And other times you're just having fun chatting with a NPC version of him. He wants it to be very clearly an NPC and not a fancy AI. I made a whole new system for him. Well, I can reuse it, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. I think it's really cool because imagine all of your favorite characters in the future to be able to have conversations with them, to be able to play games with them, interact with them. We talked about this, like Calypto might be doing this for their AI artists and stuff like that, right? Like, so you can actually tweet at them and get responses or have like live conversations with them. People are talking about this kind of stuff for all different reasons, but I think the way you're doing it as a game is super fun.
It was Steve Jobs who said that it'd be that in the future, 1985, he said, in the future, we will have computers that will let us talk to Plato and what he would have said in the past. But
I'm more of a fan of playing with my Plato.
But it will also let us talk to the future Plato. I'm ignoring the joke. The future Plato.
Smart.
That is still alive and get responses from them on the computer. Steve Jobs predicted all of this.
Okay, but I'm back on this interface. Okay,
that's something that I want to. I've been thinking about more and more, and
Okay, I'm not gonna go down that rabbit hole. Keep going, Kevin. Sorry.
We've gone down that rabbit hole so many times.
We're interrupting each other. All right, well, I'll just keep. So the, yeah, like because the thing I was thinking of before was, like, I saw a video of, this is not your thing, it's something else, obviously, but it's like, it was some kind of a mystery of people were on a train and it was like all these different figures from history, and they had to figure out which one was not the AI. And like, so you're in a room and it's like VR, you're in a room full of these people, but that just makes me think, like, I would love to, like, you have like maybe ChatGPT or whatever, and it knows all your shit. Maybe you have it grouped in a project folder or a bunch or something like that. It's aware. There's like this object that understands what's going on and has all these facts and whatever. I would like, and it'll give advice, but it's like, it's advice, or the advice of a GPT that you're using. But it would be great if we could get the knowledge and persona and reasoning of different influential figures throughout history, maybe recent history, your life, and maybe bring them together, talk to them, and put them together to see what they'd say to each other, and then form your own opinion. All right, Jesus.
So yes, I can do
No,
that, and I'm already
I'm
doing
gonna
that.
show to you. I promise.
I'm already doing that for
All right,
the one
you're doing it.
influencer. We're putting in
We're doing
all the things he says. As he says it, we'll fetch it. And when he says it online, we'll fetch it. So it's automatically put in, like you're talking about. But yes, I would love to have Plato talk to Socrates. Do you want me to make that? Yeah! Let's do
Okay.
it!
All right.
Make it,
Now,
make it.
now
Make it,
because
make
we've
it.
got like 7 minutes left, because today I think a few of us have a hard out right at 11.
Yeah.
I'm
I
very
want to make
hyper.
sure we say hi to John, who just joined us, and we didn't really get to talk to Coop too much yet. But let's say hi to John. Let's hear what's up. How's the
Hey,
new
everyone.
haircut?
Oh, the new
Feeling
haircut's
good?
great, man.
Feeling
Yeah,
good
you
about
know,
the haircut?
what's awesome is I spent the 45 minutes in the chair with all of the other barbers talking about all the coins they've been buying lately, and they're getting yield off of they're buying what MSTY, getting monthly yield, and they're like all getting into Ethereum and Solana, and it makes me very happy to see all of the barbers getting deeply into crypto.
Dang,
Is
that's
that a top
pretty rad.
signal? If your barber's talking about crypto, it's probably the top.
Don't say that.
It's
Yeah, I
just
didn't
the
say it. You
beginning.
did. No, actually, not enough people are talking about crypto still. It's still
I mean, your barbers are talking about it.
quiet. Still, I mean, but they're like, I mean, granted, one of them's a big time investor for a long time, so he kind of rubbed off on them. So, but overall, I don't know. What are you guys hearing? Are you guys hearing a lot of your friends talking about buying and crypto and asking how much you have and all of that fun stuff?
Yeah, especially, I mean, your main ones that you just talked about, right? Ethereum, Solana, Bitcoin, you know, those three you're going to always kind of hear about, you know, especially amongst like your everyday peers that aren't necessarily working in the industry, right? They have a sales job, you know, that's a corporate, or they're working for a nonprofit. Like they hear those three and they know what it is. But like, you know, I was having Kevin explain on-chain governance earlier in the call, just because it's like how many of them actually know the benefit of some of that stuff. So they know the names, but do they know actually some of the details?
How many people really care?
Well, that's Zuda. That's Zuda. That's what Zuda was saying.
Yeah, but it's kind of he was proving a point for the mainstream is most people, do they give a shit? If they gave a shit, they wouldn't be buying fart coin.
Yeah, it's crazy. And there's a lot of buzz around Pump Fund launching their coin, raising hundreds of millions of dollars, and everyone curious what they're going to do. Where does it all go? You know, are they going to build a social network?
Which is also why I think Solana gets.
They're gonna pump it. Then they're gonna dump it.
Kevin, go ahead. Kevin, Kevin. Kevin, what were you saying?
Yeah. We're trying to close something.
Is he frozen?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think so.
I think he froze. I just want to.
Yeah, I heard it hit. I heard it hit 500 million in 15 seconds. I saw a friend post about it. I didn't look into it, but yeah, I've been watching Pump.Fund.
Yeah, it's pretty wild, but I'll say probably the most encouraging non-Bitcoin thing that I've seen in the last year plus is what's happening to Ethereum right this minute. So really interesting breakout, like really interesting strength versus Bitcoin, really interesting social strength. That is extremely like nth degree positive for all of crypto. So very exciting.
I think every asset with each cycle, they have a stronger, well, and I've shown this, and I think I've shown on this show before, like they have a stronger base level of support, which I think most importantly, but nobody really cares about at this moment, which is when things ultimately do retrace to consolidate in a bear market, as they do. These things go through cycles. The retention rate for ETH, well, like Bitcoin, it gets stronger every cycle, because now it's proven. It's like people are more confident. Yeah, this will be around. There are less people to be like, is this going to be around in 5 years? I don't know. It's like, no, of course it'll be there. And that's enough to give it higher weight in your portfolio, to give it more of a chance to maybe recapitalize, buy more, all of that. So, you know, and I say this was like important for me to research and look very deeply into those details, because, you know, with Tezos, like we went up to $9 at one point, but it was like, well, this was our first actual cycle because we launched in a bear market. So last cycle was the first one, and people were just finding out about it for the first time. So we didn't really I wouldn't blame people for thinking like, oh, what's this, some fly-by-night coin that's not going to be around later. But once you show you're there again, that in itself means something. And then you show you're there again, it's like that's when you're really put in this, like, consecrated in this position of like, all right, this is a player. And I think that's when we'll also start to see some indexes. And we're already seeing it a little bit with like Coinbase's Coin 50, but that's more like, I think that's a bit more of the ephemeral assets going on now. Yeah, Suda doesn't like it when I get attention. I don't know why.
Hey, Kevin,
it's only for me.
Kevin, do you think? Go ahead.
Kevin, you said base level support. I just wanted to stop you right there. It's very confusing for us nerds that we know Ethereum base level too. Not trying to nerd it out for the people listening, but
like
you
the
say base level support, there's base on ETH, so we got to be real careful.
We can't use words anymore. Like if you say consensus, that used to mean a very general thing, but then it became a company, and then it's like now we can't say, oh, this is very meta, and it's like, oh, the company.
Hey, Kevin.
Arthur once said something about Arthur Brightman. He's
Go
like,
for it.
this is like when you take a word that belongs to the commons and you like make it proprietary, paraphrasing, then that's a betrayal of the commons.
So Kevin, are you saying that
Meta's very good
Ethereum,
at that?
So Kevin, are you saying you think Ethereum is more of a long-term play in terms of like each cycle as you see the strength grow and grow and grow?
Yeah, I think those of us who have been around and deeply into this, we've known Ethereum. It's like, well, it's here to stay. Even if other stuff rises up, it'll always have its place.
I want to give it this time as different comment, and that's because I'm actually going to make a big statement here. I don't think we have cycles anymore. I think that's over. I think historically, those of us that have been in here for a decade or so feel that, and we've seen that, and that's absolutely the case, right? But I'll tell you what's different this time. It's that Ethereum, and it's not only Ethereum, but it's starting with Ethereum, is now not just accessing crypto people. I mean, like, I think historically, if I told someone, hey, 2 years ago, what'd you think of Ethereum? They'd probably start saying things like NFTs. They'd say DeFi. They'd say, oh, those Bored Apes, right? They wouldn't say stable coins quite necessarily being the biggest thing. And they certainly wouldn't be talking about public companies becoming Ethereum treasuries. I mean, in the last 2 weeks, we've seen, SharpLink Gaming, which Joseph Lubin is leading from the Ethereum Foundation. They're buying Ethereum from the Ethereum Foundation and from Galaxy. We're seeing BitMine. Tom Lee is running that. They've bought, I think, almost a few 100,000 Ethereum. So the point I'm going to make is that when you get public companies accessing public market capital and having the expectation where they're going to keep buying, you have infinite buying pressure. Not all that different than what we've seen with Bitcoin, but there's more. There's Solana treasuries coming out here. There's 2 different BitTensor treasuries that are public companies here. They will probably all have a public treasury, a company that you can buy with stocks. And I mean, the crazy thing here is that it's an entirely new market, and the Ethereum narrative. I mean, go listen to what Tom Lee's been saying lately.
Yeah, it's been crazy,
right? Like the exponential growth of stablecoins, which means the exponential growth of Ethereum fees, which means, wait a minute, also you have his own company buying Ethereum. This is, again, this is 2 weeks old. So like, there's another narrative too. These public companies don't trade. They buy, and then they hold, and then they issue more fundraising somehow, some way, different ways. And then they buy more, and then they buy more, and then they buy more. They're not traders. And then, and then the holders, I mean, if you believe DeFi is going to grow, they're not going to sell, they're going to leverage. Same with Bitcoin. They're not selling your Bitcoin, you're leveraging your Bitcoin, as David knows with his home application that he's built. So that's why I think like we're getting post cycle, and it's going to broaden out beyond Bitcoin. And again, like literally right this second, like Ethereum looks beautiful, like great, crazy.
Yeah.
So
I do think
so
that
hey, really quick.
factor,
I'm dropping, but I can let you guys continue. Rankin, you can. I'm gonna do my next call. You can.
So
you can
cool.
stay on, right?
This guy, Cool guy.
Yeah.
Leaves early.
Okay, I gotta drop, but look at these beautiful people right here.
That's awesome.
Oh, so cute.
man.
That's pretty good, right?
Anyway.
I'll post that on the
Oh,
on the
man.
Twitter
What I would say though
thread
is,
later.
I think for
know,
stable
it's funny,
coins,
right?
yes. For stable coins, yeah, we're getting to like, and I've said this for all these years that like people will have stable coin portfolios in the way that they have volatility portfolios. It matters, but like for the growth assets, the volatile assets, it's still, the speculation level is still so high. And it's so dependent on Bitcoin, and it's still dry. Like even right now, what we're seeing with like the pause and kind of the ETH movement, it's not uncoupled from Bitcoin. So I think we're getting better on that spectrum, but like, you know, there's that. And the other thing that's so annoying is when, because ultimately the way these things tend to work is like we start with the meaningful stuff, and we all feel like, yeah, now is the time. Now is the time we're going to become mainstream. We're going to scale and all that. And the good Bitcoin starts first, and the other stuff we rely on. Then come the other stuff that's starting to rise up. It's like, yeah, maybe. And maybe those of us who are, you know, people who are in safe assets, like we make our bets. Then comes the shit. And then the shit becomes, but some of that grows a lot more than anything else. And then people are just like, well, hey, this is the thing. And that's what brings in most people who come in, who tarnish the name and the image and the narrative, and who only view the integrity of this. And that leads to the mindset, self-fulfilling prophecy with the institutional investors as to the integrity of the whole market, because they just see the crash. And they're like, well, I know this was just the froth that came at the later part. People around me, the people I work with also know that too. But nobody else knows that. So we have to kind of abide by them, or else we'll look like jackasses. So then they close down whatever they're doing. And then, you know, till the next cycle. And then that leads other people to do it, and other people do it. So it's still very, you know, when we see the frothy market, like with Fartcoin doing what it is, you know, all that, it's not an indicator of the strength of the key assets. But it is an indicator of, okay, well, if that's doing that well, then the good stuff that's near it, what does that really say about how smart or not smart the people buying it are, and where this industry is going? So I think it makes it look too early, you know?
Yeah,
So-
I mean, yeah.
Kevin, you said that I try to steal your attention. Do you want? I never try to steal your attention.
No, I don't say that. My words were, you don't like it when I get attention.
Oh, that.
It's
No, I
something,
don't. No,
but
no,
I will
no.
say this: every time that happens, you do something very unique and creative and different from the last time. So I am also, part of me is also excited. What's he going to do this time? You know, because you are very
not about you
original
having
and you never
attention.
repeat.
It's about my brain not able to track what you're saying, and then I get distracted, and
Don't
then I
worry
get
about
hyper.
it.
I get
What
so
about it?
like what
You
I
say
just heard
it
you
go over
say
my
was
head.
stable coins are like volatile something, and there are frothy farts. That's all I heard.
Because you were thinking of what your next bit's going to be, so you didn't pay attention.
No,
That's
I
why.
was heavily trying to listen to you, and that's all my brain picked up.
Rankin,
I
you
didn't
were
get
going
to
to say
some of those
something?
parts till the end.
I think we still see capital market cycles that will ebb and flow from it. But
Oh,
I think we do continually see a gradual upwards over time, right?
John, you said the most important thing happening. This is interesting. Is ETH? But isn't Pingu starting as crypto and basically turning itself into a stock? Pretty fascinating too.
I'm not really, like, my statement wasn't really looking at it that way. I guess I'm looking at this more of like the macros invading the micro. We've always had these micro cases of which coin do I buy, dude? You know, or notice how no one ever asks you when to sell it, and then they blame you when it falls. Like, but the truth is, like, Circle, like, for example, Circle, right? How often do you all talk about Circle? Probably not very
Never.
often. No, right. And that literally
Never.
is one of the top performing IPOs of I don't know how long. And it's like, think about this. This is government level stuff. This is government level, like, regulation, rules. It's all coming together right now. Like when you think about all this happening, that just ignites a fire for all these public companies wanting to buy crypto.
And so many people don't realize it either. I literally went into like a Wells Fargo bank, was sitting with one of the bank managers and explaining the Genius Act, explaining stable coins, explaining how everything is going in this direction.
You did that.
What is it? What is it? Venmo or Cash
This
App?
is
so
actually
you can
my
buy
style. I'll
Bitcoin?
talk to anybody.
No one talks that you can buy Bitcoin from Cash App, but you can.
But what worries me, because you said the macro invasion of micro, I like that. But I remember hearing, like, that was kind of the rhetoric we heard last cycle. And I feel like the caution is still the same, that it does lead to a concentration of the influence to move the markets. And just as easily as it can bring things up and seemingly insulate it, it can crash it down. I think anyone, all of us who are entrepreneurs, like, know and feel the effects of, like, even though it had nothing to do with us, FTX crashing and everything SBF did, it affected us. Of course it affected venture capital. It's like, oh, well, the smartest people in our field went behind this and they didn't. How can I trust your thing? So there were people who could see through that. There were people who, but there, others, even it's like, well, my clients won't. So why I have to be more cautious. So it causes that kind of chain reaction of thinking. So that's the concern. And also when you have a concentration of institutional players, that can lead to collusion, even if they don't necessarily intend or do it terribly maliciously. It could just be incompetence that leads to that. This is a new territory for everybody. So I think I hope we're done with cycles. I'd love to get to that point. I want to see decouplings. I want to see us looking at the massive different types of indexes. But well, I don't like it because I don't like putting things on pause for years and then resume.
John, go ahead. Go ahead, John.
Well, you end up, like, when we say cycles, like, I mean, if this is all becoming more macro, you end up being more tied to, like, liquidity, interest rates, full employment. It tends to operate more like the housing market, in a sense. Like, these things that are different kinds of moves versus what we've been used to. That being said, like, you cannot sit here and tell me that Pump Fund is going to do nothing but go up forever. Like or Fartcoin, or like anything built on Pump Fund. Like, you can't tell me that that's not going to have a lot of volatility, but it's also a baby, right? It's just born. Like, it's got to go through a lot.
Bonk has existed longer.
A lot of DeFi was built when we had 0% interest rates, like really low interest rates, right? And so, like, the yield on some of these liquidity pools and stuff that are 0.03 or 0.1, right? Like, that are super low. With rates so high, you can literally go take your money and put it in a high yield savings account, make 5%, right? You have a higher yield where that sucks money out of DeFi. Where if we start lowering rates again, it actually might be entertaining to go back into DeFi and try to get some of these yields, that are right now really low. I mean, I have conservative pools that are only making 3%. Like, that's almost a waste to put money in there.
Yeah, there'll be different points of the supply chain where people can make money, but like, why is, like, rationally we shouldn't see maybe things like Strategy and their products as valued as where they are, but it's like, well, there is a market for people who want to take that level of risk. They'll pay a premium for it. That's fine. They're buying something for that, and that's not really tangible front and present for those of us who have been in our own on-chain space for all this time. But it is, from their perspective, this is a good thing to do. So, there'll be a lot of different layers of arbitraging to find. It'll be interesting to see who discovers what and what those norms will be.
I mean, public markets are tremendously inefficient, right? And they're just leveraging that. And the crazy thing to me is, like, okay, play this out, a year. The narrative doesn't go from, all these treasury companies are going belly up, because if the price goes up as it has already, they're sitting fine. The question in my mind becomes, like, what are they going to do with it? Like, great, you got 600,000 plus Bitcoin. What are you doing, like, with 600,000 Bitcoin? Are you going to put it to work somehow? Are you going to lend it? Are you a bank? Like, it's not just them. Like, there's tons of companies doing this. It's like, what are they going to do?
That was MicroStrategy before. They were just a company for like 2 years that just bought and held Bitcoin until they announced a couple of products recently. They're doing well.
We're going to borrow against it. At some point, get leveraged up, and then all of a sudden get
Hey, Kevin.
Let's all do that.
I have questions for what you've been talking about. I've been heavily listening.
Me?
Yes, you. Okay. So, you were talking about how you like the idea of the macro going into the micro.
Echoing
So
what John said.
or whatever you said, and I think I got it right. So you're saying that, and you're going off to what John said, I know, but so, and then you're saying that you hope cycles end, but cycles are still going on with the USD and Euro and everything else. So if cycles end, everything stops moving. Is that what you was so are you saying you want things to flow into Tether?
What I'm saying is
go up, or I don't really understand what you're going there.
right. So when I'm referring to cycles, I mean the way like the crypto cycles, the inter-year crypto cycles that we're all kind of used to having been since the beginning, where it's like you have a great season starting with Bitcoin growing and then the trusted alts and then all the other ones, and then everything gets too high and then it crashes down, and then we spend a couple years maybe recovering, and then we come back to it again, and then we come back down. And it's not just the prices, like entrepreneurship gets the hit for that as well, because venture capital gets the hit and community activity gets the hit. Like all these things are hurt when we go through these bear boom cycles. So like it makes things very like certainty. It makes things very uncertain, so it's hard to plan and continuously execute without some level of more stable and diversified composition.
So you want more stable cycles rather than our insanity?
Yeah, and also some decoupling from Bitcoin, because right now it's like everyone waits for what Bitcoin will do. If Bitcoin goes down in price, the general norm is, oh, let me sell my other stuff because I want to buy cheaper Bitcoin. Maybe not even directly that, but like that's how things tend to move. The markets tend to move. So yeah, it is that kind of trend setting type thing. And then people look for greater beta when it comes to, all right, he's putting his hands, it's too much. All right, you get it?
Well, real quick, I want to chime in real quick. So the other thing, the elephant in the room is the AI bots and the AI agents and these sigils or sybils. I don't know what the word is, but people that are farming and have 50,000 Solana wallets, like a crazy shit. And then they got software that can help them manage it. And they're out here farming. And imagine with AI agents doing all that high level analysis and manipulating the market. Just saying, we couldn't do it before without AI, but with AI and AI agents and bad actors, it's just something to think about.
Before X did their cleanup, I made fun of that by making a joke coin. I would drop a link as I do not buy. I'll sell on the bots, only bot spot, no people, and I made plenty of money each time, like $20-$50 in like 20 seconds.
Solana to me though is still like the most overvalued asset in the of the major assets in the market. It's manipulated that way. They've been able to hold out at this level longer than I thought, but like it becomes increasingly expensive to maintain that position when you have this onslaught of so many different projects out, things that people could put money that would otherwise elevate or maintain to elevate Solana and go somewhere else. That becomes more expensive. It's more expensive to pay for the market makers. It's more expensive to do whatever, day-to-day marketing you need to get done. It's a lot easier to do that in a bear market. Still, it's very expensive. Still extremely expensive. But and we've seen other types of projects like this be in those kinds of prime positions and then fall apart. So I think their comeuppance is going to be stronger than others, and it is more centralized. It is not something I think that financial institutions, once they do their due diligence, it's the kind of thing with other options that they're going to get behind so readily. But it definitely is something that it's talked about a lot amongst financial managers and people in crypto funds, and their clients are asking about it. Because that's what's hot right now. But they used to talk just as much about EOS when it was a top 5 asset. And,
hey, Kevin, your coin tree. Have you done any stunts with trees on it?
No, because that's not our public sale is a ways away. So
Oh,
we'll
like
get
you
to
should
that
climb
point.
up in a tree and do little like airdrops when someone walks by to their phone. Click here and get tree token. That'd be
Eventually.
awesome.
You
Or
know,
Yeah,
make
we
like
just
like
got to
just
get.
with it. Or make an
to,
AI.
to Kevin's point about Solana, it's been really fascinating to see Solana versus Ethereum, say for like the last year, because Solana went from, I don't want to say nowhere, they were decently popular, but to really popular, to where like they were having every day more social activity than Ethereum. And a lot of the narrative was, where exactly does Ethereum sit now? Solana scales better and it's cheaper. And then there's Bitcoin on the other side of it for a better store of value. Where does Ethereum sit? It's a lot of the narrative, a lot of the negative narrative. And it was overwhelming for a long time. And then it's interesting that what made Solana so big over the last, call it 12 months, it was pump fun.
Yeah.
And so now it gets really
Mm-hmm.
interesting because are they going to do what everyone else seems to do when they grow to a certain level and go, oh, you know what, we need our own chain. Remember when there was remember when what's it called, what was it, the ape chain?
Yeah.
They created their own
Yeah.
chain to build all that stuff on it, and
Bitcoin.
there was all this backlash against that, and like how'd that work out? Like it's really it's interesting because now Solana is getting out Solana. What we're seeing recently now is Sui and Say have a bigger scalable narrative than Solana has. And so it's just sort of, it's just, look, probably the most competitive game in the world we're in right now, right?
Well,
like
it's a simple rule though. Everybody wants to pump their bag. So what do? You buy low and then you pump your bag until it's high, right? And that's all you talk about is the bag that you bought, hoping that the value of that goes up. And then as soon as it goes up and you made your money, you stop talking about it and you move on to the next one.
Right, it's real quiet.
It's what happens. I mean, if Solana had never crashed down to $8 and had a whole bunch of people buying at $8, I don't think there would be as much talk about it this cycle.
Right. Yeah.
It's there's a lot of opportunity. They're making a lot of money right there if you bought at a bottom. And the smart people probably did.
I wish a lot of these discussions were far more intelligent than I made money. You know,
Yeah,
because ultimately we're not
Yeah.
talking about that. We're talking about building a better future. But it's like, oh, dude, I made 10x. I'm out. Like that's so like 101. Can we get to 201, please? Sometime, like, you know, like
Well,
crypto
that's
Twitter
what-
is full of greed. Like,
and that's
know?
why
Yeah.
that's why I couldn't buy onto the Solana bag.
Say that again, John. Say that again, John. Wow. Say that again, man. Crypto Twitter is full of greed. That's the statement
That's why
right
I couldn't
there.
buy onto the Solana because I knew one, there was a lot of that, you know, hey, we're going to pump it, make money off of it. But then two, if you look at the biggest ecosystem like you're talking about is pumped off fund. What's the whole premise of that? Launch a shitcoin, pump it up and dump it. Like, I'm like, that's not something I want to support.
Right. And the new entrants, to Kevin's point earlier, the new entrants that come into this market will see that. They'll get burned. They'll get a bad taste in their mouth and think, oh, I'm out of here. Like, versus like, I don't know, they could have bought $5 of Bitcoin, spent the next 12 months researching, trying to understand the space, and then going down the path of actually investing.
It's fascinating because I have two crypto groups in the Sacramento area. And mine, unfortunately, talks about NFTs, crypto, Bitcoin. We talk everything. There's another group that is Bitcoin only. The Bitcoin only group has maintained all of their members. The people who played in crypto, most of them have disappeared and haven't come back.
Yeah,
I see them once in a while. They're like, yeah, I've got a little bit in crypto, but most of them have like been disappointed.
Well, I'll give you a microcosm example of a marketplace that's different, but it's the same economic principles and social behavior. OpenSea, which they actually started as, like, I think they wanted to sell real estate as NFTs, and then they quickly pivoted to fine art. They did well in fine art, which ended up getting their initial large rounds of funding and everything up until about March 2021. And I've watched this so closely because that was like the heyday of course, of Eket Nuken when Tezos really took, because that was the only option where people could move. So by May 10th, if you look, they were like dead in the water, OpenSea. They were down to a few hundred users a day. They were getting like 1 million revenue, which was like nothing and all that. And then something came that led to their biggest growth ever the next month, which was they put Bored Apes and Mutant Apes up. And then I think there was a number, I have to find the art, like 70% of their revenue that month was just those two things that people traded between them. And then came, of course, all the replicants. And that led, of course, to a lot of excitement and a lot of people like, oh, I'm going to make this PFP project. I'm going to make, gypsy super soldiers or whatever the hell. Like there were so many of those things. And some of them did well for a while. Some of them fell apart or whatever. But ultimately, there's not enough space for all these things. And most people lose money. And things crash. And even the high integrity ones, those end up crashing because people lost money in somewhere else, so they have to recoup their assets another way. And then so everything just kind of fell apart, and then OpenSea was dead in the water again. And I remember seeing that and saying, like, this reminds me a lot of like stuff I saw in the ICO market in the previous cycle before that. And it's just, there is that kind of, that falling apart when things get overinflated in this hype type game. Most people will lose money. Most people do lose money. That's the only way anyone can get rich, is if most people lose money in these kinds of things. These permissionless large systems with no safeguards.
It's extraction of value, or it's just a trade. One person to another, right? We're transferring value for it rather than creating new value.
But ultimately, I mean, with the way like pump.fun works, I mean, like the value goes down as people sell. I mean, there's not that equivalent amount of soul that somebody else gets. It's just you're depleting the.
I think the sad part of a lot of it is a lot of people who are fiat minded, right? They take that value and then they extract it out of the system. And they bring it back to the dollar system, where it's one thing to create value and have people buy and sell stuff, and all of a sudden have that liquidity stay in the system. But when they start pulling money back out of the system, that's not good for crypto long term.
I think I feel like they do that, like the way human greed and psychosis in these times of boom work is people just, even very fair-minded, some of the most intelligent people you'll ever know, they get overconfident and they think, well, just a little bit more. I'll pull back if things go sour. And then if things go a little bit sour, they're like, well, this is just a blip. People have to lose money before they decide, all right, I'm going to pull out. It like very few people like sell at the right time or near the right time. So
well, if you hold the right assets, you don't have to sell though.
But the assets, it's not like what you either. But I don't feel like that. What crashes things is liquidity exiting the ecosystem. It's the value of those assets going down.
Long-term thesis.
Based on. Money just gets wiped out.
My long-term thesis is the dollar keeps going down, and so if you hold good assets, those continue to go up against the dollar, and that's all that matters.
That's what Arthur Hayes has been kept talking about. How like the only way we're going to pay for any of this stuff going on, with the budget and with tariffs, we're going to have quantitative easing. We're going to have to print more money. That's the only. All roads lead to printing more money, and if that happens, we have more decoupling from Bitcoin.
100%.
What do you hold? You hold Bitcoin, Bitcoin.
So hold Bitcoin. Yeah, that's the smart thing to do right now. Yeah.
David, what assets should I buy?
Bitcoin. Well, you should already hold it. You shouldn't have to buy it. You don't buy in the bull market.
Well, you know what's funny? I was hanging out with some of the community members on Bitcoin Pizza Dow Day or whatever a couple months ago when we had the Pizza Dow Day, and we were all talking. We all got in early 2015, 2014, and we were all talking amongst each other and said, all this trading with all these altcoins, we probably should have just bought Bitcoin and done nothing. And we all went, because like, what I'm saying? It's just, we all agreed on it. We were like, we probably should have just bought Bitcoin and the ETH and just held that and dollar cost average and stayed out of everything else. But
my mom bought ETH at
go back there.
$1 and she still has it.
Hold on, John, what were you saying?
Did you think about this? Think about this, right, Coop? So like, go back to that time. You said 2013, 2014. And was your mindset like global store of value that's going to save you from the demise of the US dollar, and that Wall Street would be all over this thing and they want it so bad, and the banks are going to want to custody your Bitcoin? And like, think of where your mind was back then. Like, you didn't even probably believe, I didn't, that there could never be another Bitcoin. Like, I mean, like I would actually argue that the value proposition that we currently like feel, see, believe it just started like maybe 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, because everyone says what you said. They got in a long time ago. I should have just bought and never sold. I should have just bought more. I'd have, you do your math, you'd have 500 Bitcoin, right? Like
people waiting for the bottom.
It was that simple.
Like people think the bottom would be lower.
I will say that I had a buddy who tried to get me into crypto earlier, right? 2016. And And it really wasn't until I saw Compound in like I think 2020, 2019, when I saw Compound and I saw that you could deposit crypto and start borrowing against it, and went, holy cow, this is actual utility on chain. I'm like, this is revolutionary. Like this shit is gonna be cool down the road.
Yep.
And then I started talking to people in the space that were using these platforms and realized, okay, when you can start borrowing against crypto, we've changed the game in a decentralized manner. I'm like, and that's what really sucked me in at that point. It was like, okay, now I actually see utility for this stuff, where this is going.
I've never understood that, David. How can you buy something, borrow against it, and then buy something off of what you're borrowing against? My brain doesn't understand that.
Why?
It doesn't make sense. I don't know that with finance.
No, it's
I'm going to send you. I'll send you a doc that I think will explain it easily. Okay.
Thank you.
It's like this: you own a house.
It for me.
You own a house, and you want to remodel your kitchen. You borrow against your house to use that money to remodel your kitchen.
So you're
financing.
Oh, refinancing.
Yeah, you're using leverage. It is leverage. It's a form of leverage.
Oh,
right?
okay. So you're saying this will go up in value, and I'm leveraging against it. And if it goes wrong, you lose whatever you're putting in.
Correct. But the thing is if you understand that dollar debasement over time, today's dollars are going to be cheaper than, or tomorrow's dollars are cheaper than today's dollars. So if I'm borrowing in dollars, that debt is going to get cheaper and cheaper against the assets that I'm borrowing against.
But will the dollars get cheaper and cheaper if we go to a Bitcoin-backed dollar?
Well, no, that's something else.
We're not there
the
yet.
idea, like your Bitcoin is the base thing you're borrowing against. That can keep going up in value. And so, but if you borrow, like you have, like say $100,000 in Bitcoin, you know, that can keep going up in value, or you have one Bitcoin behind it, right? So it's 120 now.
Yeah.
And then you borrow, say 10,000 against it. Even as the Bitcoin goes up in value, you still only owe 10,000 plus the interest. Now, if I borrowed Bitcoin against Bitcoin, well, then the debt's going to go up just as quickly as my collateral is going to go up. That you know,
I sort of
get it.
I made a calculator
weird,
that works okay. It's not 100%, so people need to do their own due diligence. But I made a calculator called Satoshi.fitness, and you can actually play with a whole bunch of different scenarios using this, and tweak with it.
I've been telling everyone about that day too.
Yeah,
I've been sharing your website with everybody.
Oh, hey, Coop.
But that's what got me into this space is seeing that, hey, look, there's actual utility in this stuff now, that this makes sense to me. Because before that, my buddy was just using Bitcoin to gamble on random sites. Like,
I gambled Bitcoin at $50.
If you look at DApp Radar before 2021 or before 2020, like before, like you saw these DeFi dApps start to pop up. Looking at that bear market post, like in 2018 to about 2020, it was just gambling dApps.
Yeah.
That was it. That was all you had.
Yeah.
There was nothing else. And then maybe some other weird like things someone would just like post, but it wasn't actually an activity.
Well, and that's why. And I mean, so the first two projects which I was investing in was Compound and Aave, because like back then it was called Lend. But I was like, okay, I actually understand the banking aspect and really like the banking aspect of this. So that's what brought me into the DeFi space.
Tomorrow, by the way, the V3, I'll remind people, the V3 versions of the Tezos.finance lending platform will be out. These are the composable
you may
ones.
have to help me withdraw my funds, because right now
of course I will. But yes, now you can go and withdraw. You can go to the site now and get ready your funds for like withdraw them, and then get ready, because tomorrow we could have actually launched yesterday, but we want to make sure all our devs are back from, they have their local holidays and stuff. So yeah, tomorrow it's go time tomorrow, 7:16. So yeah, lots of stuff. All right, I'm gonna go get the thing.
And earlier today I was on.
Go ahead.
I was on Twitter and I asked Grok. I said, Grok, I asked Grok to give me a full breakdown of Crypto Week, because I live here in DC, so Crypto Week, I think it's mostly the House of Representatives, but they're basically voting on the Genius Act, the Clarity, whatever, the Clarity thing, something else. But it gave me an interesting breakdown. Y'all should all just ask ChatGPT or whatever AI I use. break down crypto week because there's a lot of stuff happening, y'all. That I don't think we talked about it during the show today, but it's a lot going on.
What was the major? What was the major high level stuff that you took from it?
I posted it in the DCS crypto community, but it was basically what I was just saying. The Clarity Act, the Genius thing, and a stablecoin thing. Something I gotta read it again, man.
People don't realize stablecoins are coming.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
So stable coins stay stable. So why are they a big deal?
Because they're dollar backed. It's basically bringing more dollars into the system, and the significance between that is, so when you deposit your dollars into, like, let's like Coinbase, right, and you get USDC, those dollars then go to Circle, and some of that money, and I believe this is still the case, and I don't know for sure. I assume the contracts are in place, but like people, either Circle or somebody like BlackRock, then takes those dollars and then goes out and buys U.S. Treasuries, right? And so they have the opportunity to earn the yield on the U.S. Treasuries while you're playing with the dollars in DeFi or whatever. And so there's a huge incentive for them to do stable coins, because while you're getting dollars, they're getting all this yield on all the dollars that have been turned in and transferred.
How is that different than what FTX did by taking the money that you put in and then lending and then investing in things?
Because it's all dollar backed. FTX was basically gambling off of their own liquidity.
Oh, so the difference is dollar backed versus crypto.
Yeah. And so the thing is, this is dollar backed. So the thing is what we're going to see is we're going to start seeing a push into stable coins. All these banks banks can now participate. So we're going to see a plethora of people creating stable coins and using the dollars that are in there to go buy up treasuries, because the rest of the world is de-dollarizing a little bit, right? And so if they no longer want our U.S. treasuries, somebody has to buy that. This gives the opportunity for our dollars to go into a system. We end up trading on stable coins. And on the back end, they get to buy up all the treasuries and earn yield off of that. So it's
real quick question, because this is a hot, like, I don't understand a lot of this, Dave, but like, how does this affect like the $1 trillion debt, that huge number that's climbing? If we're doing to increase the dollar.
Okay, so debt is all proportional, right? If you have a large amount of debt, but you print more money, you actually debase the value of that debt. That debt is worth less as long as you're continuing to debase the dollar, right? So now what this happens is you kind of get this revolving door. We print money, right? So let's say we issue a bond for $100,000, right? That $100,000 bond allows us to now, let's say, print 100,000. Okay, so now we take that 100,000, we go put it into a stable coin, right? Which now you or I get to use. So we get the value of using the $100,000 in stable coins to do liquidity, transfer, business, whatever, right? But at the same time, those dollars went into a system, and into that system, they can take that $100,000 and buy the bond they just issued, right? So now they're buying bonds, making interest on it. So you kind of got this loophole going around while you still got the velocity of money circulating out there in the DeFi space. So it's going to be really fascinating. And what it's going to do is we're going to increase the velocity of money and basically have a whole system to be able to buy the debt as we're creating it, which will, I think in theory, will end up creating a huge surplus in the money system, which will devalue currency even more, which also then devalues debt, right? But as we devalue the purchasing power of the currency, all asset prices go up, right?
Do you think the U.S. Mint is going to officially enter this stablecoin war and possibly do something that's separate from Tether and Circle? And
well, no, we're going to see. I think we're going to see a plethora of stablecoins out there, and it's going to be really interesting because we're going to be fighting over who can get the most liquidity in stablecoins, because liquidity is kind of key.
Here's the crazy thing, and I was talking to the other day about this, but they mentioned every single state offering their own stablecoin.
They might.
And then everything becoming like states become DAOs and stuff like that. We didn't want to talk about the CBDC, but
there's definitely some discussion is if you can decentralize everything, why do you need governments?
Exactly. Right? We were talking about like
that's further off. That's further off. I mean,
have you guys heard of CDAO?
No.
If you go to AI.mil, it's called CDAO, Chief Digital and Artificial Intelligence Office. And I thought, wait, they have their own DAO? Sadly, I was disappointed.
So it's going to be interesting to see the direction that we go with all this. I mean, I think we go stablecoins. One, I think there's a push, or there will be a push to go this direction, simply because I think we're in a direction of getting rid of cash payments over time. And if everything is on a stable coin, we can track all payments, and therefore the guy who gets paid under the table doing your lawn because he gets paid cash, who doesn't pay tax on it, that goes away. The farmer who's paying the illegal immigrant who's working under the table on farm payroll being paid cash, that goes away, because now it's all reported income, because it's all on chain, right? And so all of a sudden you start having on-chain transactions where people who are working cash payments kind of start disappearing. And so that actually helps to drive more tax revenue towards the government, because they can actually audit the chain to see, well, where's the money going, right? And so and sadly it's more of a surveillance economy, but I think that's the direction that we are heading at some point.
But no one's going to take. We might take the coins away, but we're never going to take the dollars away. The
coins are what have value. The coins don't have value. The dollars that don't have any value. Your coins are actually meant to take by the mint.
Now I feel you on that.
Use one of the privacy-based coins like Verge, where it doesn't show what you have on chain. Then
that's fine, but the thing is institutions and people who play by the law won't, right?
Why wouldn't you want some of your data private? Why wouldn't you use Verge?
I'm just saying that you won't be able to go buy your Starbucks using a privacy coin. Like, that's not going to happen.
Well, I never thought about that. I don't know.
If you want to buy a Starbucks, you're going to use USDC in the future, I think.
No, I'm just going back to
okay.
Not being able
to right now.
If I'm a business, it's better to know your habits on chain, because I can track it for marketing purposes.
So if I go to Starbucks right now, you don't think I can buy a Starbucks with Verge right now?
No, I'd be curious. I mean, I don't know what Verge is.
I'll go. Okay, so you want me to go there and do that?
Technically, you can't.
You don't
you
right
can't.
You
can't. There's no way you could. Now you're thinking about swapping it. Yeah, there's no because it's like it's legal accounting, man. They're not gonna fuck with privacy coins.
They don't know.
Cursing, but yeah, there's no way.
So there is a front end, as I've seen, where you can just have any coin in your wallet, use a Google Pay like thing, swipe it, and it transfers it to their system as USD from your coin.
So you're paying with USD at that point. You're paying with USD.
Exactly.
Technically, it's going from your coin to their. It's swapping, yes.
Yes, you're using a platform that's swapping to USDC. It's the platform doing that. You're not paying with the crypto today. Yeah, you can hold
the transparency. If you did it right from your private wallet, X Verge, whatever, I forgot, XVG, straight, they're not going to accept it, man. It's going to have to be Bitcoin or USDC.
Yeah,
from a legal
perspective.
But
you can still do a swap like that, so you still have some privacy.
I have a feeling that you'll see a crackdown on those wallets over time. Look at Samurai Wallet. All these different entities, as soon as they start talking privacy, like, they get hit. Like, that's just the direction that we're going. I mean, look at the history.
Doesn't that concern you? Doesn't that concern you, David? When the second they start talking.
No, so interestingly enough, one of the reasons I found fascinating about this, right, is I worked in the construction industry. Guess where there's a lot of cash payments in the construction
industry.
Yeah, so guess what? When you're a contractor and you're trying to compete against people who are doing things illegally, it becomes a very hard field to be honest in. And I literally did not proceed forward in creating a company, because I know that there are dishonest people working in the industry, and I can't compete with dishonesty. And I wasn't going to be dishonest. So when I saw that stablecoins could potentially solve this problem of under cash payments, I was actually kind of excited about it, because it takes away the cheats out of the system, is what it does. It creates transparency.
So in a way, essentially us embracing stable coins could potentially get us out of this $1 trillion debt over time.
That possibly. Well, the thing is here's the thing. We live in a debt system. Debt is not a problem, because every dollar comes from debt. $1 equals debt plus interest. You can't dissolve all the debt, because if you dissolve all the debt, you dissolve all the money, because of how our system is created. Our system is created on debt. And so, like, that's just something that how it works.
That's
So
crazy how the system is, but they want all of us to not have debt and have a high credit score and take and follow all the rules, but they're just running a fucking,
There's
Well,
this dude.
there's good debt, there's bad debt. You want good debt? Good debt is when you have a business. So if I go take out a loan for $10,000 and buy equipment, but that equipment is making me money, that's good debt.
Right.
I could pay
So
off. Debt. Bad debt is credit card debt when you're buying and consuming the stuff.
I refuse to use credit cards. And this one guy told me he has a couple companies, and that have done pretty well. And he's like, no, credit cards are the best. You just pay it off real quickly, and you can reverse transactions. I'm like, why would I want a credit card? Who's right?
It helps with liquidity. It helps with liquidity. That's all it is.
I don't really get it. I mean, if you have liquidity, why would you need a credit card?
If you have cash on hand right then, but like for example, let's say you're a cook and you're doing a weekend barbecue, right? But you don't have the cash on hand because you haven't sold the hot dogs, so you need the buns. So you go buy the buns, you buy the hot dogs, you go sell the hot dogs and the buns, and now you made a profit on the hot dogs and buns, and then you pay off the credit card, but you keep the profit that you made off of your sale, right? But the thing is, you may have not been able to sell as many hot dogs and buns if you weren't able to leverage that capital to do the business.
So you're saying if you had no money in your debit card and you had to use a credit card?
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
But if someone, so this guy always has plenty of cash on hand, and yet he thinks credit cards are great.
Well, here's the thing. So let's say he has his money invested, right? Most people with money have it invested. So let's say I have my money invested, earning me 7%, right? Well, if I can borrow money from the credit card, pay it off by the end of the month, and owe no interest because I paid it off at the end of the month, why would I want to liquidate my investments earning 7% or something like that when I can go borrow money from somebody else and pay 0?
That makes sense. Yeah. Actually, you're the first person to ever explain why credit cards are useful to me. Thank you.
But
I've always tried to understand.
Look, but you have to pay it off. The trap is most people don't pay it off in time, and then they pay the penalty of the 16, 18, 20% on the credit card.
Dumb. You have to pay it off. You pay in my brain, you pay it off the second you buy it.
Yeah. I'm sure there are people, I don't recommend this, but I'm sure there are people who have used their credit cards for buying Bitcoin with the expectation of it going up faster and then paying off the credit card. Now, that's a bad situation.
I refuse to do monthly plans for almost anything. I always buy my phones outright.
Yeah. No,
because I don't want to be beholden to anyone.
Well, okay, so there is a trick, and I learned this from the phone company. It's harder to SIM swap a phone, though, if you still have a payment on it, because they have to pay off the phone in order to SIM swap it first.
Yeah, let's not go there. I'm a hacker.
That's the alpha today, man. Yeah.
No.
The only reason to have a phone payment is because it makes it harder to swap your phone out.
Guys, do you want me to SIM swap you today? Is that what you're asking me to do?
No.
Okay. No. I'm just saying that's not.
I've already been
there.
The
only way to avoid a SIM swap is to call your phone company and give them a separate password that's different from your whatever password, and say this is the only password that's going to SIM swap my phone. And then the only way it can happen then is from internally.
No.
Depends on the company.
It does.
The important part is not to have anything financial on your phone that matters. And if you don't have anything financial on your phone, then it doesn't really matter. So that's important lesson to learn. People have a rude awakening in regards to this. Most people don't have things to worry about with having their phones SIM swap. But going through it once, it's not fun no matter what. No matter who.
I mean, you don't want your socials taken over. That's what most people get affected by with the SIM swap is their socials.
Socials? No.
Yeah, because then you can get past any 2FA.
Yeah.
Yeah, if someone steals your Google account these days, you're pretty much in the shithole, man.
Ryan, I want to find out. You played with Suno a little bit. What'd you think? And did you make any music?
I am probably gonna buy the $8 version this week, as you know,
Yeah,
the
go
lower
ahead.
version tier, and I'm gonna mess with it, but I'm only gonna use my music. So anything that I produced, maybe I
Yeah.
lost the equipment, so I want to separate the stem files of like old stuff, and then I can try to revamp it. I'm gonna use it only
Well,
internally
be
with my
careful. Be
self-produced
careful.
stuff. I'm
Be
not.
careful. Be careful giving it your own data, though. I don't know if I would put too much of my own stuff up in there, just because you don't know what rights
Well,
you might be
just to,
providing them.
well, just to extract, for example, the drums from a track I produced 10 years ago, 15 years ago, and I lost that laptop. I have no way to get it. You know, I thought about using Suno. There's other software out there
Okay.
like Lander and stuff, but I
You
mean,
tried
I'm
it?
thinking about just trying out Suno.
Did you try? I think you tried to make 1 or 2 songs, right? You made a few songs, if I remember
I
right.
made 1 or 2 songs, and
Yeah.
oh, it just sounds
You
so
gotta
fake,
listen.
man. those singers and stuff, man. I listen to all your music on there. It just sounds fake, man.
Swap to version 4.5. That
Yeah,
sounds
4.5.
real.
It does sound better.
I
So
saw that.
yeah,
I saw they had a 4.5. I saw that.
it's
So
been
that
fun.
I was looking at that this week, and then the other big thing I was looking at as far as like Web3 gaming is Play Off the Grid. They just partnered up with Solana, so I got some
Yeah.
new Solana skins and stuff, and I'm excited about it because then you got this game on Solana, PlayStation Network, Xbox, Steam Deck, and PCs. PCs are like PCs and Mac, so like yeah, that's a lot.
Are you farming on OpenSea or XP?
So how do I do
No,
that?
I remember you asked me. No, I'm not farming for their airdrop. I'm gonna
How do
get
I do
something because
that?
I've been messing.
So
with.
OpenSea every week. Now, there's no guarantees on this, right? I mean, it's fun. I don't know what the XP is going to do. There's some rumors. But every week they have certain tasks that you can perform. And if you perform those tasks, you unlock experience points. So like this week's
Okay, so the quest.
Yeah, so like one of the tasks this week was complete a token swap on any chain. You have to do it through their platform. They have now you can trade tokens through OpenSea along with NFTs. And so if you do a token swap through their platform, you got 250 experience points for doing that. And that was you had to do $50 minimum. They have another one for 100 XP. Buy any NFT from a verified collection on any chain for $10. You have to buy it through OpenSea. And if you do that, you collect XP. So I've been farming the XP points. But dude, are you okay?
I wish there was a way to, if there was a way to automate all of this. I don't have the time to be doing all of that, but if there was a way I could set up an agent to just get it done, I put the $50 whatever in there and let it run it. That would be cool.
Hold on, give me 1 second. So yeah, I'm farming. I don't know what's gonna happen, but
You know, I'm gonna take a look at it today. I remember every time we talk, you're like, get on OpenSea, get on the beta, and I got early access, but I just didn't like the interface, man. I just thought it was a little confusing and off, and just I didn't like it.
So,
but yeah, it's a lot happening, man. Yeah, Crypto Week is happening. I know there's an event happening Wednesday with the Solana Foundation here in DC, and then Friday there's an event with the Stand with Crypto movement. I don't know if you know that Stand with Crypto thing. They've been in every state now. You should be familiar with those guys. But yeah, they're having an event Friday here in DC, so that's kind of on my radar. I missed the event Monday at Brock Pierce's mansion. I don't know how I missed that, but and that event on Monday is called Crypto Mondays with I forget who's sponsoring that. I gotta look into that. But I remember the day Compound came out, man. I bought it on Binance. That's how long I've been in this space. I remember the day it dropped, and I was like, "Oh, up 1,000%!" I bought it. I remember those days, man.
Hey, I'm gonna just remind everybody, Brian, you can stick on for a minute. I'm just gonna sign off on the live stream.
Okay.
Anybody, please come visit DGB. And visit our website, dgb.vc, and come join us. And we'd love to talk to you, whether you're launching a new product or hear about what you're doing and what you're working on. Or if you're an investor, come talk to us as well. Anyways, thank you for participating and joining the show today, and we look forward to seeing you next time. All right.